Good morning. I'm Rick Bryant. I was raised by my dad to deal with problems. If you got a problem, take care of it. It led me to becoming an engineer, and it has led to my career dealing with problems. I get paid to travel to various places, various businesses, various cultures, different places in the world to help them work out their problems. I'm very accustomed to gathering resources from the industry, experts, and helping them clear out the distractions and get to work on their problems. And I'm really looking forward to taking the input from the first district, the community, teaming with them with my 30-year career and dealing with problems, and seeing if we can really make a difference in Washington. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick, for leading off so ably.
I'm Larry. Get to know me. We're going to bring some very important issues to this campaign. We need 25 million green jobs. We've got 25 million people who don't have jobs right now. They might be living with friends. They might be living with family. They're struggling. They're applying for work, and they don't have health care. We're going to create 25 million green jobs. We're going to bring the troops home. We're going to sell off the bases. We're going to sell off the weapons. Let the rich countries who don't pay us a thing to defend their own countries. We've been there since 1944. We can do this and not raise taxes. I'm going to go to Congress, and we're going to create a climate of truth-telling on the floor of the United States House of Representatives. We're going to clean up the corrupt banking system, and we're going to pass a national publicly funded checkoff fund for all candidates for office so that we can end the corporations bribing our public officials in elections and in service. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Colbert Bush, and I am the Democratic candidate for the 1st Congressional District. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. Many of you know me. I have spent 21 years in international trade and shipping on the waterfront with the maritime industry. I have spent 5 years with Clemson University in academia, focusing on research, technology, energy, and environment. And I have always wanted to do something to give back to this community what they gave to me. And many years ago, when I came back into the community, I went back to school, the College of Charleston, and so many of you in this room spurred me on and told me, let's go, let's do this. And I want to give back to you. I want to help you, and with the experience that I have in the waterfront, the maritime industry, and what the experience I have in academia and in energy systems now, we want to take that to Washington, create jobs through education, workforce development. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Good morning. I'm Larry Grooms. I love Jesus. I love my wife. I've been in the Senate for the last 15 years, and I started my business. I've got a record of making things happen. I got a record of success. When we needed to do something to save our port, I introduced the port restructuring legislation, which has led to the greatest turnaround of any port on the East Coast. When a number of pieces of legislation they said couldn't happen, I introduced it, we made it happen. And I say that just to say, we have to make some things happen in Washington. If we don't stop the spending, and if we don't stop the debt, we're not going to be able to recognize the country that we've all come to love. I'm a business guy. I know how to get things done. I have the experience. I have the passion. I'm asking you, send me to Washington. Let's fix these problems so we can give a better future to our children. Thank you, Larry.
Good morning. I'm Jonathan Hoffman. I'm a native South Carolinian. I had the honor of serving at the Departments of State, Homeland Security, and the White House for a number of years, working mostly on border and immigration issues. I've been to Washington. I've had a lot of success there on working on the programs I was tasked with. Most importantly, I think there's the issues we're addressing now. Everyone up here can talk about how the economy is going. The big issues for me are tax reform and regulatory reform. We need to reduce the tax rates, broaden the base. We need to address regulatory reform. There were over $500 billion of new regulations placed on businesses over the last 4 or 5 years. That's not good. We need to address those. I'm running because I've been in public service before. I've never run for office before. This is all very new to me. I see people with the iPhones out here. I'm glad you have the panoramic app to get the picture of all of us. But this has been new. I'm looking forward to it, looking forward to meeting as many of you as possible, and hopefully gaining your support.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Good morning, I'm John Kuhn, and thank you to the Chamber Board of Directors, and thank you to Brian Derberry, and thank you to all of you members for being here today. It's great to have such a great turnout because this is an important race and it's important that businesses are understood. You may not know, but I built a whole shipping business from scratch on my family farm, and within 5 years we went from no shipping business at all to shipping 5,000 containers of hay to Japan every year. So I've built a whole port and shipping business and trucking business, and I understand the problems and the issues you all have. Then I came here and married my wife 23 years ago. She's from Charleston. We've been married 23 years, and we built a law practice from scratch together. She's an attorney, and so am I. We went to law school together after we were married. So we built our own law practice from scratch. So again, I understand your issues as a small businessman. I'm for port dredging. I'm for everything that makes the port strong, and you could have a great congressman who really understands your issues if you'll vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Good morning. My name is Tim Larkin. This is my home. A lot of the folks up here are essentially going to say, we're from the government and we're here to help. I'm here to tell you that I'm from the business sector and I'm here to help. My day job, I'm an information assurance cybersecurity engineer for a DoD contractor just up the road in North Charleston. I grew up in Goose Creek. I currently live in Somerville. In the evenings, I volunteer at the local domestic violence shelter. Monday nights, you'll find me at my Boy Scout troop. On the weekends, I still put the uniform on. I've got over 15 years of service in the South Carolina Army National Guard and still counting. I understand what's going on out there. I'm writing proposals. I'm looking at the defense sector. I'm looking at the local business sector. I know what you all are going through. I know what we are going through, and I know how to help. Again, my name is Tim Larkin. We look forward to your questions. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Tim.
Good morning, I'm Chip Limehouse, and for the past 15 years, every economic development project we've had here in the Low Country, from the Ravenel Bridge to the harbor deepening just last year, to the two new carriers we have at the airport, to the expansion of Boeing, I've been hands-on involved with all of these economic development announcements and all of the job creation that comes along with that. As a small businessman in the private sector, involved with real estate management and hotel management, I sign the front of paychecks every other week. And I understand what the small business person, many of you all sitting in this room, faces on a daily basis with government regulations, red tapes, and ever-increasing high taxes. So I think I'm uniquely positioned to represent the 1st Congressional District. I'm known as a doer, somebody who gets things done. You don't have to tell me about it. I'm already on the job and aware of all of the difficult problems that we're facing as business people here in the Low Country. Thank you, and I'd be honored to have your vote.
Thank you, Chip.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Moffley, and I live in Arlington. I'm married, have 4 children. My husband and I have run 3 small businesses, so we understand business and what we're going through and what we need to address. For me, I got involved in politics because of federal mandates under the No Child Left Behind, which in 2006 I actually decided to run for public office the first time ever as the state superintendent of education because no one was paying attention. And we have the same problems today with that health care bill that we've got coming down. But I now presently serve on the Charleston County School Board. And for most of you probably don't know, but Charleston County School District is the 3rd largest employer in Charleston County. You know, we had Arthur Ravenel come from Congress to the school board, and he said it was the hardest thing he ever did. And I've had some of the best grassroots training here locally with my constituents and the bureaucracy of the district. So I'd ask for your vote and your support on March 19th. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. I'm Sheriff Ray Nash, 30-plus years of South Carolina law enforcement, over 20 of that in executive leadership, either as a police chief or a sheriff. Our founders gave us a blueprint for a morally sound and financially responsible, constitutionally limited government. That blueprint is called the United States Constitution. The reason we've got problems in D.C., the reason it's broke, is government has gotten outside of its box. The last 3 years, I've been in Afghanistan as the criminal justice advisor to the U.S. Embassy. So I've been actively engaged in the foreign policy and national security policy, which has given me an even broader perspective about government, what works and what doesn't work. And virtually all of the problems that we're having, economically and otherwise, can be traced back to a violation of some basic constitutional principle. So I say let's get government back in the box, and we'll solve a lot of these problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Good morning. I'm Andy Patrick. I'm not a career politician. I was elected to serve in the State House in Columbia a little more than 2 years ago, but I've spent most of my life committed to public service. After graduating from high school, I enlisted in the United States Air Force, where I served on active duty for 5 years. Put myself through college, became a New York State trooper before joining the United States Secret Service, where I helped plan and supervise President Bush and Vice President Cheney's security. Anyone here who's a veteran or has served our country can tell you, when you serve your country, you learn what commitment and duty are all about. You know that our great nation is to be defended and preserved. But what we see happening today are the foundations of America crumbling. America crumbling. Not from some foreign power, but crumbling from the weight of debt. Crumbling from a government that cannot pass a budget. Crumbling from a deteriorating culture. Wanting to fix those problems, restoring our great nation to the principles of our founding fathers, is about more than service to our country. It's about a better future for my children and yours. I'm asking for your prayers and your support, and hope that I'll earn your vote on March 19th. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sean Pinkston, and I'm running for Congress as well, where, as you can see, there's a lot of us up here, so you have a lot of work to do in order to vet all of the candidates. It's interesting, last time I was here in this ballroom was for a charity event to help premature babies. My son was born 2 months early, and my wife and I struggled early in his life to bring him to health. He's healthy now, but it's those memories. And the reason I say that story is because it's important that we bring service back to elected officials. I believe in service before self. I'm a former officer in the United States military. I see we have a colonel here in the audience today, and I feel like saluting even when I see the uniform today. I'm a veteran of the Iraq War. I believe in putting your interest and the country's interest before my own. I will do that as your next congressman. We've gotten away from that with professional politicians, and we need to restore that to our elected officials. I'm Sean Pinkston. Please check out pinkstonforcongress.com. I see that I need to stop, but I thank you for your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
I'm Eugene Platt, and I think I have been blessed with the best seat in the House. Sitting right in front of me, a lot of you are several beautiful children, and I'm prompted by that to share with you a poem. You get a lot of politics today. Let me share with you a short poem inspired when I checked on my sleeping daughter when she's a baby sleeping in her crib. It's titled New Priorities. My preoccupation is no longer empires. I tiptoe in darkness to witness your blankets rise and fall. Then, bending over the slats of your crib that remain silent through the night, I become reacquainted with the God I knew in my youth and say a wordless prayer of hope for your future, which is the future of all the world, while listening for the sweetest sound I have ever heard. Your breathing. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugene.
I think there are a host of issues that are incredibly important to the underlying economy of the Low Country and the Tri-County area, all of which I guess we'll get into here over a couple of minutes. But I think foundational in essence to them all is whether or not our nation's financial house is in order. I think that if we don't get spending under control in Washington, there are going to be incredible implications for the U.S. dollar, for the savings that we might have accumulated, and frankly, for the American way of life. And ultimately, that's why I'm in this race. And if you look just at that foundational issue of spending, you know, when I was in Congress, I was rated #1 in the entire United States Congress by the National Taxpayers Union in efforts to do something about spending and taxes. I was rated by Citizens Against Government Waste the same. As governor, I was rated as the most financially conservative governor in the United States of America by the Cato Institute. You know, I was the first governor to turn back stimulus money because I didn't believe that a problem of too much debt would ultimately be solved by too much debt. And yet it was at a time when it was anything but popular. Had 1,000 school teachers out on the front. And I see stop, so I won't get rolling here. But anyway, to be continued. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Just go. Morning, I'm Teddy Turner. We all know as business leaders how we got into this mess. Government. We know that we've been sending politicians to Washington to screw up a problem that's already big. I've been on public company boards, I've chaired public companies, I've started small businesses, and with the government assistance had to close small businesses. Yes, I'm from the government, I'm here to help you, still does not work. So we know that we have to get small business going in order to increase revenues to solve the problems we have. That's it. That's the only way to do it. You understand what cutting a budget is. Some of these folks don't understand what cutting a budget is. They think cutting a budget is not spending as much next year as they spent this year. We need some change in Washington. We need leadership and we need accountability. We have to have accountability in our business, in our home, but we don't have to have it in government. It's time for that to change. I'm Teddy Turner, and that's why I'm running for Congress. Thank you.